Hello, welcome once again to Lehto's Law. I'm Steve Lehto. We're going to talk today about the situation in Dallas. I had a lot of people send me the emails and the stories regarding the Dallas County District Attorney who announced the other day that his office would not prosecute shoplifters who stole less than $750 worth of stuff if they weren't doing it for financial gain. And when that announcement was made, people were like, wait, I can now just shoplift and get away with it? And so a lot of people were puzzled and upset, and rightly so. And so the governor came out and even criticized it. And so now the Dallas County DA has responded to the criticism of the governor and tried to explain himself a little better. But in case you didn't know what's going on here, um, the guy's name is John Crusoe. He's a Dallas County District Attorney. And he issued a statement on Wednesday to clarify his stance on the prosecution of theft of personal items valued at less than $750. Now, Greg Abbott is the Texas governor, and he said that this is reckless and irresponsible to make that announcement. Crusoe said the biggest misconception might have come from the interpretation of the term personal items. He said that he doesn't want to prosecute people who commit thefts out of desperation due to hunger or poverty. I previously stated we will not prosecute theft of personal items less than $750 unless the evidence shows that the alleged theft was for economic gain. The governor took issue with that statement, saying that it essentially legalized the theft of property so long it was below $750. And Abbott said, what kind of message does that send? And if your district attorney wants to change the law, he's in the wrong job. And that's something I talk about here all the time. If you don't like the law, you can get your legislature to change it. If you can't get them to change it, well, that's where you're stuck. So if you're the district attorney and you don't like the law, well, you did take an oath to uphold the Constitution and actually follow the law. So if a police officer in your jurisdiction makes a good arrest and submits all the documentation for a prosecution that could result in a guilty, it seems to me that that's your job to do that prosecution. And so by making this policy decision and then saying it out loud is like, shoplifters of the world, come on down. So Crusoe said he chose the $750 figure because that is the top end of a Class B misdemeanor in Texas, which starts out at $105. And he said that if anybody shoplifts for economic gain, they'll still be prosecuted. It's just that the people who are stealing things that they need, like that makes a difference. Now, Crusoe did give an example to try to explain the logic behind what he's doing here. And the logic does appear to make sense until you think about it. He used the example of a person who'd been arrested and charged with a theft of $105. Kept in jail for 2 months, she cost the taxpayers $3,300. And so his thought process is, well, do we spend $3,300 to prosecute somebody for stealing $105 worth of stuff? And the answer that most taxpayers will give you is yes. Yes. Because by prosecuting and arresting and putting her in jail for 2 months, maybe that woman will learn a lesson to not steal. And maybe her friends and family will learn a lesson to not steal. And maybe everyone who hears about this story will learn a lesson to not steal. On the other hand, if we take the person who steals $105 worth of stuff and say, we're not going to prosecute you because it's only $105, it's teaching that person to steal. It's teaching their friends and family to steal. It's teaching everyone who hears about it, hey, I can steal now. So I think his math, although mathematically correct, is misguided and ill-placed in this setting. It's a stupid idea. Crusoe says that as of right now, his office has not told any police departments to behave any differently. In other words, they're going to keep doing their business as they see fit. And he's implying that they might prosecute some people who steal personal stuff below $750. But if you're a police officer right now in Dallas County and someone calls in a shoplifting charge, someone stole $400 worth of stuff, and you go to the scene, and it would be a good arrest. You got good witnesses, you got videotape, you got stuff down their pants, whatever it is. And you're thinking to yourself, I can write this person up and do whatever I normally do in a situation like this, but it might all come to nothing. So would it all be for naught? If so, why do it? And there's nothing worse than discouraging people from doing their jobs by telling them, by the way, the hard work you put in might all just be for nothing. And, you know, I'm not a police officer. I've never been a police officer, but I've known quite a few of them. And I suspect they'd agree with me that if they knew the prosecutor might not prosecute for somebody they're about to arrest, they might go, you know something? It's not worth it. Why bother? Why bother wasting our time on this? So this is going to be in the news for a little bit longer. I'm sure. Among the things that could happen, I don't know if you can recall a prosecutor, but there might be a move to do that down the road. And there might just be such a groundswell of uproar over this that he might be forced to just publicly reverse this position. But as of right now, in that county, it looks like the prosecutor won't prosecute you if all you do is steal personal stuff, household stuff, keep it below $750. But here's the thing. That is not a license to steal. And I'm not talking about a moral high ground thing here. I'm simply telling you that the one part of the story that everyone has missed, which I will now tell you, because that's what I do here on Lehto's Law, is that in Texas, as in many other states, including Michigan, if you steal something from a store or otherwise, the person you steal from can sue you, and they can make it economically not worth your time to have stolen from them. These laws are designed to allow the victims of theft to sue the thief and not only get their stuff back, their money back, but also to get some extra money for the time and troubles. And if you are a store owner in Dallas and you're worried about this, all you gotta do is advise your staff, even if the police won't help us, we're gonna help us. If anybody gets caught shoplifting, you still call the cops, get a police report, and we're going to sue these people and make them sorry they set foot in our stores. So here's how it works in Texas. You may want to consult a local attorney just in case, but I pulled a copy of the statute. It's called the Texas Theft Liability Act. And it is called Title VI, Chapter 134, Section 001. And it says, liability. A person who commits theft is liable for the damages resulting from the theft. A parent or other person who has a duty of control and reasonable discipline of a child is liable for theft committed by the child. So in case you thought by sending your kid in to steal the household stuff, maybe that'll soften things up a little bit, even make it less likely that you get prosecuted, doesn't matter because you can still get sued for it. So here's what happens. A suit under this chapter may be brought in the county where the theft occurred or in the county where the defendant resides. So you go into Dallas County, you go into a store, you steal some stuff below $750. You know the prosecutor is not going to prosecute you, but the store owner catches you, calls the police, fills out a police report, and the entire time you're laughing at him going, I'm not getting prosecuted. I don't care. I don't care. Well, you can get sued. Store owner can file a lawsuit against you. And in a suit under this chapter, a person who has sustained damages resulting from theft may recover from a person who commits theft the amount of actual damages found by the trier of fact, and in addition to actual damages awarded by the trier of fact in a sum not to exceed $1,000. So they can get the damages, which is going to most likely be the value of the goods stolen. Okay? So they get the damages, and then the trier of fact can also award another amount up to $1,000. And just to make sure that we're having fun with this, each person who prevails in a suit under this chapter shall be awarded court costs and reasonable and necessary attorney's fees. So it makes it worthwhile for you to pursue it. And by the way, the parent or other person who has the duty of control and reasonable discipline of a child, they can be sued for up to $5,000. Okay? So you don't want to do the thing where you send in your kids. You want to discourage your kids from stealing. And you as an adult shouldn't steal either. And so what I would do is, if I was a store owner, I would make this policy well known throughout the neighborhood that we will continue to prosecute shoplifters, meaning that the police will get called, a report will be filed. Whether prosecution occurs, we don't care. We're going to sue you. Now, I know people have to saying, Steve, I'm judgment proof. You can't get $1,000 from me. Well, you know something. The interesting thing about a damage award like that, it's probably recoverable for most people. You can really make their lives miserable. But remember, the store is not necessarily suing people because they want to actually make money off the transaction. Remember, we want to deter people from stealing. So if I was an attorney and I was near a big store and they had a shoplifting problem, I would go in there and say, by the way, guys, you understand there's this law called the Texas Theft Liability Act. We can sue for damages. We can get extra damages. My attorney fees and court costs get paid by the bad guys. So this shouldn't cost the store anything to implement a program where we're going to sue everyone who steals from us. And that's that. Now, like I said before, you can say, hey, Steve, you can't squeeze money out of me. I'm broke. That's possible. But if we're doing these in bulk, let's suppose that, you have 10, 15 people a week who get caught shoplifting. Just start suing them all. And some of them will hit, some of them won't. I think it'll all even out. But the point is it open season to shoplift in Dallas County? It was reckless, I think, of the district attorney to make that announcement publicly. It might encourage shoplifters. But like I said before, number one, the police haven't been told to change their behavior. But number two, you steal in Texas or in many other states, you can still get sued for it. And then the question then becomes, was it really necessary for you to do that? Was it really worthwhile? So we'll watch how this plays itself out over time. I suspect that this policy is going to be off the books shortly, whether it's because that district attorney goes away or whether it's because enough pressure comes down on him to change his stance. And by go away, I mean literally just out of office. Okay, I'm not talking about personal threats or anything like that. So that's the situation in Dallas County in Texas. And as updates come, I will pass them along to you. Otherwise, questions or comments, shoot them below. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.